They say you are what you eat, so I don't eat chicken feet. But I love me some of Grandma's pickled beets. Well, cut it up, put it in the pan, throw it over your shoulder and see where it lands right here in Farmer's Kitchen. Maters, taters, beans and corn, the cows in the barn and the sheep's been shorn, kids in the barnyard chasing Grandpa's chicken. Spices, slices, cuts and dices, gonna slash your grocery prices right here in Farmer's Kitchen. Help you grow your garden good with recipes to suit your mood. Try some grub you've never tried before. Smash it with a wooden mallet. Gonna educate your palate. Right here in Farmer's Kitchen. In Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen. We're gonna cook something good now.
Hello and welcome to Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen, the Thanksgiving edition. Here's Farmer Joe Weber.
Yes, sir. Hi, Tim.
Your products are on the shelves. Talk about farm to table. Here we are in Salvisa. People who have driven through has probably seen your critters in the backdrop. You are one of these folks who have noisy turkeys. You're one of these folks who have been out there in the real world. You have had a job, you've had a life outside of this. What called you to this pasture, these critters? What made you do that?
Well, I felt like I wasn't really doing my part in the world and offering something, so I couldn't figure out what I needed to do and read a book, You Can Farm by Joe Salatin, and changed my life and showed me some opportunities that were available out there where you could actually make a living at farming, and thought I'd give it a shot.
You know, Thanksgiving's right around the corner. People are paying attention to where their food's coming from. Back here, we're seeing you do this. We're seeing these birds on pasture as opposed to a dimly lit, stinky house. They're supposed to eat grass and bugs.
Well, they're getting more of a natural diet out here, and they are getting some grain supplement with this, but we do a non-GMO grain, and you can see them out here pecking around, scratching, looking for bugs every day. And that's what they would normally do in the wild. Kind of have a cleaner way of life as opposed to being in a confinement house.
Now, what are these? What breed is this?
These are broad-breasted bronze, so they're similar to the broad-breasted whites, which are the same kind of you would see in the grocery store on a normal basis. The bronze just have the color of the wild turkeys, which looks a lot better in my opinion. You know, I enjoy having them.
What's the difference in the meat?
I feel like where they're eating the grass, and there's been some studies done as well, but it helps cleanse them out, and you actually get a cleaner meat. They get a lot more vitamins from obviously being on pasture and eating the grass and bugs, and it just makes it more nutritious.
So you've got the white ones over here. Now those are going to be ground turkey. A lot of people are buying ground turkey as an alternative to red meat for burgers and so on and so forth.
Right, much leaner meat.
Why these? Why are these going one direction and those going the other?
Well, these just happen to be older, so they're going to be ready for Thanksgiving, which is here in a couple weeks.
Gotcha.
And those, when you're doing ground turkey, you tend to get them a little bit bigger. That way, you have more, end up with more product.
Right.
Don't have to be big enough for Thanksgiving yet.
What are the challenges of turkeys as opposed to chickens or?
Well, they take longer. They take anywhere from 14 to, if you're doing ground, up to 20 weeks. And so you got a lot more time invested.
So, from this point, you send these guys out to be cleaned, and do they end up on local shelves?
They do. We sell to a couple stores, grocery stores, and then we also sell to some restaurants, and we do quite a few just families that reserve a turkey for Thanksgiving and then come and pick it up or meet us at a certain location.
You know what, Joe? You are doing cool stuff, man, and I applaud you. When you hear these sounds, you smell these smells, it's just, you're drawn to it. It's either part of you or it's not, and I think you got a cool thing going. And good seeing you, man.
Good to see you too. Thank you.
We're back with Lauren.
Yeah, welcome back.
You know what? It's turkey time.
It is turkey time.
Now, we've talked about 100 times about how we know where our food comes from.
Yes.
Now, as I'm looking, as a hunter and a gatherer,
yes,
you can tell it's been out, feeding on grass and bugs.
Exactly.
What are the different choices people had? during the Thanksgiving season?
So at the base level, we're still giving you a natural bird that's antibiotic free, and then you can go up a step to organic, and then you can go up a step to the pasture-raised local that we've got.
Tell us the difference.
So pasture-raised means that they are feeding on grass and they're getting those grubs.
Like they're supposed to.
The
That's
insects
what they want.
like they're supposed to, exactly. So with natural, it gets a little bit more ambiguous, but we know that they have an antibiotic-free diet, and we also know that everything post-processing is natural. No additives, nothing like that. When you get into organic, you get a little bit more into the feed that they have and everything like that, but the pasture-raised is the only way that you know they've had a lot of time outside.
I know exactly where this guy came from.
Yes,
I
you've
thought
been
it's
there.
so cool. Been there, done that. And it's so cool to know that this is happening in Kentucky. So right back here in the meat section, they can choose from all those three things.
Sure.
That's a good looking bird.
I think so. I'm wanting to cook it up, rub some butter on it, put some herbs under the skin, all that good stuff.
Let me ask you this. Have you ever had one smoked?
Last year was the first time, and I don't know if I'll ever go back. It was amazing.
You know what? We have a process that I've done this with chickens and stuff, and we can do it with turkey too. You have to be kind of careful because the temperatures and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But we got a process. I'll make sure you watch this show.
I will.
Because you're going to like it.
Okay, I'm going to write down notes for it next
Well,
year.
thank you so much. That's a good looking bird. It looks almost, I'm telling you, it looks like some of the wild ones I've plucked.
And it's from right down the road.
I like that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim.
Now, let's talk turkey. Let's talk about smoking a turkey. A different way to do this. Who doesn't love smoked anything?
Right.
Now, if you're going to smoke a turkey, I would highly recommend you probably don't go past the 10 to 12 pound range because, you know, there's temperature issues
Right.
and fitting it in the smoker and so on and so forth. You want to get that internal temperature up to about 165 degrees. You don't want everybody to be sick.
That's right.
But this can be one of the tastiest ways in the world to fix a turkey. Now, one of the first things you have to do is brine the turkey. Now, this is a brine. This recipe is old, but it's very simple. I'm going to give you the basic ingredients to this. You're going to take, per gallon of water, 1 cup of kosher salt, 1 cup of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of black pepper. I use the coarse ground one, so on and so forth. If you want to put just a little bit of soy, I'd say per gallon, a half a cup or so. That'll give it that nice salty taste. Also, we're going to take a little bit of liquid smoke seasoning, just maybe like a capful or less. You can use a little bit of thyme, a teaspoon. Mix that in there because you always love that thyme taste when it comes to poultry. One other thing that we're going to do and put in this brine is some garlic powder. Let's put 2 tablespoons of that as well.
Okay.
Just a dash of Worcestershire.
Okay.
Now that makes a nice brine. What you're going to do, we're going to dump these in here in the gallon of water. Now what I try to do is try to find a pan that is high enough and tight enough to the bird where you don't have to use as much brine.
Right.
So if you can cover that in a gallon, that's great. If not, use
more.
a gallon, 2 gallons, so on and so forth. Again, this is a 12-pound bird. I don't go much over that if I'm going to smoke it. We're going to start the brine. We're going to put all the ingredients in here,
Okay.
bring it to a simmer, then set it off, and then set it in the refrigerator and let it cool. Then you set the bird in there, mix it all up, set it back in the refrigerator and let it go for 12 to 14, 16 hours, depending on how much flavor you want in it. So I'm going to start with the gallon ingredients, bring it up to a simmer, and here's our cup of brown sugar, black pepper. Now I like my black pepper. Half a cup of soy, and a little bit of smoked flavor. Some thyme. Okay, 2 tablespoons of garlic powder, just a dash of Worcestershire. So now we're just going to bring this to a simmer and then cool it back down. Drop our bird in there. So we're well on our way towards getting a first-class bird.
I'm excited.
in the smoker.
I can't wait to eat that.
Last time I had smoked turkey, I shouldn't tell this story.
You should tell. It was funny.
I was with Kentucky Field, and we're on the road, and you don't know where you're going to get your snacks sometimes.
Right.
You just where you are. So I went into this gas station, and they had a smoked turkey leg.
Really?
It was like in this machine keeping it
Yeah.
warm. I don't know how long it had been there.
3 weeks.
I grabbed that thing, pulled it out, and started eating it. I thought, man, this is good.
What?
I was sick for about a week and a
Really?
half. Oh, you remember that? Don't get your smoked turkey at a gas station.
Okay.
If you do, just look at the expiration date.
On the turkey wing?
On the
Or
turkey.
bone?
Bone, just make sure. I don't know. There might be some really good turkey smoked turkey in a gas station somewhere.
I've never seen it in a gas
That's all
station.
I got to say about that. So again, we're going to bring this to a simmer. You don't want to boil it. You just
Right.
kind of get everything, the sugars and the salt acquainted,
Okay.
as my grandfather would say. All right, so later on, in the fridge,
Okay.
bird goes to sleep for about 12, 14 hours. We get up tomorrow, we're going to put our cherry or apple, I haven't decided yet, in the electric smoker. Now, I like an electric smoker. We have both kinds. I have a big smoker that we can use for all kinds of things, but tomorrow we're going to be busy. We got
Yeah.
a lot of stuff going on. I like to be able to digitally dial my number and my time in. And there's also I can insert a probe into that breast meat. So when it's getting around 165, I need to know. Now here's something I'm going to give you a little heads up on too. When we're done, we're going to wrap this in foil. Then we're going to stick it in the cooler for just a little while. Let that set for about an hour. Does wonderful
Yum.
things to it.
I'm excited.
I'm fired up. I really am. Now that doesn't look like a 12-pound turkey, but it is a 12-pound turkey. So we're ready to roll.
Yay.
Are you excited?
I'm excited.
Let me
I'm
see
hungry.
excited look. Now we've preheated our smoker. It's cold outside, so we've got this on the back porch. So we're going to take some butter, and we're going to put, I would say, probably a half a teaspoon of rosemary, half a teaspoon of thyme. I'm going to take some cherry pepper. That's rumored what the Colonel used in Kentucky Fried Chicken. I'm going to take some salt, just enough to, I'd say, a quarter of a teaspoon of each. Don't forget a little granulated garlic in there as well. And we're going to cover the breast of this turkey with the butter and those spices. Oh man, I've already got images of this guy in a couple hours. Now we have our cherry soaking. We're going to use cherry wood. I'm going to soak those just a little bit. I like to go about 250. Now at 250 degrees, you're talking 30 minutes per pound. If you're going to put a probe in, you can go into the breast or the deepest part of the thigh. You need to get to 165. That's where you know you're good. Alex is back.
Hello.
What you got for us today?
An apple cider sangria.
The perfect time of year.
Absolutely.
I'm looking at these ingredients and I'm thinking, I'm looking at a lot of Kentucky type stuff here. I really like this.
Lots of Kentucky type of things. Apple cider, you can't get more country than that as well. We're gonna add bourbon to it too. So we're doing Kentucky. So what we're gonna do to start is get your choice of apple cider. I always prefer local brands if you can find it.
Gotcha.
I think they taste
We just did a
better.
show with Evans.
Very good. So what you do to start with this apple cider sangria is you'll get preferably a gallon for a big batch. It'll make about eight cocktails for everyone. Now I have some here that's already been warmed up that I have for you to test.
Right.
So if you're gonna make it from scratch, you pour in your apple cider, leave room for the bourbon, throw in about 5 cinnamon sticks,
Oh yeah.
lots of apples, more apples, and then about 2 oranges.
So it's healthy.
It is healthy, we can say that. So from here you have 2 options. You can either let this sit overnight in your fridge and let everything infuse, or you can simmer this on the stove for about 2 hours and serve it up warm. This is what we have here. If you wanted to serve it up warm, you wouldn't add any ice, you wouldn't put it in the fridge. Put your 1 ounce of bourbon in, your apple cider, you top it off with some Ale 8. And then just for pretty garnishes, I like to put some cranberries on top, maybe another orange, a cinnamon stick for a swizzle.
It's kind of
That is it is pretty. That is your warm apple cider. Then if you want it cold, just add ice. Add your ounce of bourbon. Leave room for the L8. Cinnamon stick, swizzle stick to stir it all up. And then you have a cold, refreshing apple cider sangria.
So this is in the morning when you're deer hunting.
Definitely to warm you up, absolutely.
This is after you've taken your deer and you got to clean it and you're sweating.
That's your nightcap.
Perfect.
2 ways.
I like it. What are we calling this?
The apple cider sangria.
Now for kids or those who don't want alcohol, it still make a good drink.
Absolutely.
How would you do it?
It makes a perfect mocktail. Pretty easy. You just leave the bourbon out of it. Perfect for kids without the bourbon, perfect for anyone who doesn't want to drink. The Apple Cider Sangria.
Todd is back. Todd, you see your man over there.
I do.
He's, I think he's been a good husband.
We hope so.
He wants some sweet feed now. He has been in here, I think if he successfully did what he was supposed to do, when should she have her next calf?
So that's been a little over a month ago. So your 9-month gestation period on
Just like a human.
Just like a human, that's exactly right. So 9 months from about the middle of October.
But he is a specimen.
I'm excited about him. I think he is, as far as genetics, as far as on my farm and in our area, I think he is genetically one of the most superior bulls that I've definitely ever had, just because he ties back to one of the foundation sires in the Angus breed. So
now, how old is he now?
he'll be 4 in the spring.
Wow. Here's my plan. Tell me what you think.
Okay.
Very shortly. This calf, you estimate about 600 pounds. Now,
Right.
last year, I think it was 650, 675.
That's right.
When it went in. That was some of the best beef I've ever had. Now, I have limited freezer space, and we talked about, you talked about custom.
You do it the way you want to do it, and now you've got 2 options this time. You've got a calf in case you have eaten most of last year's calf, which most people can consume a 600-pound calf a year if you just eat a normal amount of ground beef and maybe some roast and stuff like that. So if you go ahead and process her natural calf, the black calf, and then if you wanted to stick that Jersey, pull that calf off of her and put it on feed, you'd be able to get a little bit of a comparison of a milk-fed versus the grain-fed, which you eat grain-fed anytime you go to the store. Those are grain-fed. That's grain-fed beef. But a little bit different in the fact it won't have anything else put into it as far as growth hormones, antibiotics, and those type things. You know everything that's happened to that Jersey calf because we were here together when he first landed on this farm, and you packed him in your arms. So,
Well, now we got to get him loaded up
that's right.
and headed back south.
That's right.
And I've got to go check my turkey.
Okay.
So we'll get a bag of sweet feed up because that seems to be what makes them go.
That's right.
All right, let's see what happens, man.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your viewing pleasure, happy Thanksgiving!
We've been waiting for this moment. Now, let me tell you what. You want to blow everybody away and serve them the best turkey they've ever had,
Yum.
ever.
Yum.
What do you smell, Miss Nikki?
It smells delicious. Can I have some?
I want you to look at this. Golden, beautiful, and that smoke smell.
It's like a picture in a magazine. I love it.
It is like a picture magazine. But the smell is beyond belief. Now, one thing I do want to say about this, let's go back and just reiterate just a little bit. All right, first of all, this is a 12-pound bird.
Right.
All right. We soaked it about 12, 14 hours. Then we cooked it at 240, 245. It was cold outside.
Yeah.
We also popped an orange in here just to kind of, once it get heated up, that would fill that space.
Right.
Now, I pinned these wings down with a toothpick so it'd have that beautiful, wonderful shape.
Good job.
I can't hardly talk from my mouth watering. If you want to try something, I'm telling you, for Thanksgiving, just blow everybody's mind out. And juicy, oh my
Wow.
goodness. Should we cut it? Or do we
Yes.
just want to stare at it for a while?
I'll eat it and you just watch. How's that?
Let's do a little cut down the prime. Now again, 165. Then we put it in a cooler. I'm just slicing off it just to like the perfect piece here.
Yum.
We put it in a cooler for an hour in aluminum foil. Now, here's what you're going to notice. You're going to notice a little pink color. That's not because it's not done. That's from the smoking process. Mrs. Farmer.
You must love me if I get to go first.
Look how moist and juicy that is.
It's terrible. You don't want any.
Is that not perfect?
You're going to have to make, for Thanksgiving, 2 of these.
Make 2 of them because we got a bunch of people doing it.
Oh, wow. That's the best turkey I've ever had. Good job.
Now, you probably, the question they're going to be asking if you don't have a smoker, I would highly, highly recommend an electric smoker. We use, what is it, Masterbuilt?
Yeah.
It's digital. You put in your commands, your temperature, your time.
Walk away.
And you walk away. They have probes, too, if you want to check to see what your internal temperature is.
Right.
You go ahead and pop it in where you want it. Look at this thing steaming, juicy. Got that nice smoke flavor. Something else you're probably going to ask, well, how often do I have to change the chips? I don't overdo the smoke. I put some in at the beginning, and then I put some in midway. You don't overwhelm this, but you have, And again, we did cherry wood on this one. This is so easy to do. Once you figure it out, you're going to be doing a lot of stuff in the
This is
smoker.
so good.
The electric smoker, $150 on sale, and you'll use it a lot. We're going to do a lot more smoke stuff coming up this year. We got so many good recipes for you. This has been a wonderful season, our 6th year.
It has.
We got a bunch of brand new shows coming up. But being that our very busy day, from cattle to turkeys to the store, all over the place, this is the star, though.
Yes, it is.
This is the star.
And I'm just
the most
keeping eating.
beautiful, delicious turkey you'll ever make in your life. And if you want more recipes, especially sides, where would you go, Mrs. Farmer? You can talk with your mouth full.
TimFarmersCountryKitchen.com.
That's
This is
exactly
good.
right. TimFarmersCountryKitchen.com. Mrs. Farmer, how many sides do we have? A gazillion?
50 million.
And a lot of these shows have only been seen one time. So
Right.
if you're looking for some sides for Thanksgiving,
Cranberry sauce, mashed potatoes,
macaroni and cheese,
yeah, sweet
whatever
potatoes,
you want.
whatever.
We've got them. So look at our sides, knock yourself out, have a happy Thanksgiving, and try to gain some weight. You're looking thin out there. Also, go to shows, then YouTube, boom. Now, if you were on Facebook and you wanted to go see Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen, did you know there was a Facebook page?
I do. I knew that.
What do you have to do to become our friend?
You hit like.
That's it. Boom. You're on. We talk. We share recipes. Every Monday you share your recipes with us. This half hour's up. Look what a beauty. One more time. Just look. Just look. Just smell. Smell that.
That's a magazine turkey.
Can you smell it out there? And remember, it's all about
Good times
good friends.
and really good eats.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Christmas time is right around the corner, and once again, you have to find a gift for that hard-to-buy-for family member on your list. At TimFarmersCountryKitchen.com, this problem is solved. That's TimFarmersCountryKitchen.com. To order a cookbook, please call 502-319-0487 or email timfarmerck@gmail.com. Special thanks to CKY, Canoe, Kentucky, Furniture World Superstore, Housewarmings, Lodge Cast Iron, Tater Knob Pottery and Farm,